All right, folks, welcome to today's episode of Hindsight. I'm Beat Physicist. With me on the panel is, of course, Sensei Buddha and Mr. Suave. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys feeling?
Good, brother. Good, brother. How fellas doing? We are good, blessed on this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. Woo! Days are flying by.
Yeah.
Feeling very good, Beat Physicist, Mr. Suave. Hey, man, feeling great. Beautiful day out here today. And let's go ahead and get to it.
All right. All right. All right, where do we start? All right, so Brooklyn's finest, Octavia Elliot, a 33-year-old female, killed her boyfriend, Ramel Pattersons, slashing him with a serrated kitchen knife. And she went to work, did it a little systematically, put the rubber gloves on. This altercation happened after an argument about Ramel and his motorcycles, and was involving her. I'm not sure what happened. He wanted to go motorcycle riding with her. She didn't want to, caught feelings, and then just snapped and went to work. So that's where we are with this case. Two of them were together for 8 months, and the police came to the scene of the crime, heard her talking to herself, and put the bracelets on her. She's in jail getting processed right now. Sensei Buddha, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is a nice little change of a venue from the two internet dating sites. Now we're dealing with something actually have to have a on self-defense type of a situation. First of all, we start to understand that Miss Elliot has had a history of this kind of violence. She was not assaulting her other boyfriends, but it always involved an edged weapon. Yes, she's a cutter. She's a hachiman. And
okay.
The thing that's so sad is that
for our listeners who don't know what a hachiman is, could you break that down, Sensei Buddha, please?
That's somebody who cuts somebody down, like we call them the hachiman, like an assassin type of cutter. It's just a little jargon there.
Okay,
but,
culturally, I mean, I'm saying, is what type of saying is it? What culture, country, ethnicity?
I believe it was referred to, I think, in the Japanese culture when they say hachiman or something like that, just in jest.
Oh, okay.
We just say it's in jest. You're a hatchet man. You cut someone up, or just hachiman. But the thing here with this woman here, this individual, is the fact that clearly she's mentally unstable. The thing is, we don't know if Ramel Patterson, was he informed that she had this kind of history. According to police, she does have this kind of history. She had altercations before. She had stabbed other boyfriends before. And for some reason, I guess it was his male ego. He thought, I'm with her now. She ain't going to do that for whatever reason. What I'm interested in, because they didn't go into a lot of detail, is how she was able to cut him. Was it a situation that, like, we know that they argued. He wanted her to go riding with him on the motorcycle, whatever it was. She promptly left, put on the rubber gloves, grabbed the knife, and then returned. Was he looking at her? Did he turn around and see her coming? Did she slice him from the backside? Was he, doodling with the motorcycle, like fixing it up, tuning it up? And then was he just, cut down like that? And also, it's very obvious that she really has mental issues, not only just because of stabbing her boyfriend, but when the police found her, she was at the scene right there talking to herself. Now, she's been charged with two things. She's been charged with second-degree murder, And she's also been charged with legal possession of a weapon. If she is convicted, if they find her guilty, she will be serving life in jail. She will be serving life in jail. And in this instance, I believe it's 1,000,000% justified. It's just so sad, because if this gentleman would have paid attention to her, Mr. Patterson would have paid attention to her, he could have prevented it. Hell, he could have probably jumped on his motorcycle and just drove away from her. There was a lot of things he could have done. But again, if he knew about her history, the relationship should have never, ever even began, in my humble opinion. You can't deal with mental illness and think that, okay, because I'm on the scene, she did this with all those guys, but now she's with me, I'm going to cool that right on out. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And sadly, in my humble opinion, his ego got him killed. Straight up.
All right. Mr. Suave, your thoughts?
Oh, man. So, Miss Octavia Elliot. Okay. I say, Shorty look all right. She's not a bad-looking chick from Brooklyn. Maybe could be a hood rat. I don't know. I see the hood rat earrings. That's neither here and there. But, we're just trying to build a description. For the listeners, sometimes we'll put links of what we're talking about if you want to see the people. And you can Google it, whatever, We try to get the most accurate links for you guys so you could get more in depth with what we're talking about. But back to the story. Yeah, so she's a Brooklyn lady, and I'm seeing Shorty. I'm like, okay, she ain't, she look like she's a little slim. She can move a little bit. And then I looked up the deceased boyfriend, Ramel Patterson. He looked like an older dude, and he's still sporting the young cat braids. So they were around the same age in the early 30s. So I'm not seeing much of advantage either way. So I'm just thinking, like, damn, how did she get the jump on this dude? From what I'm reading, like, they arguing, she left, she came in, she threw the gloves on, then she threw the knife on, then she stabbed him in the arm, slice or cuts in his neck. I mean, when you're dealing with somebody with a knife, the best thing you can do is get distance. Grab a chair. That adds like 6 to 8 feet in front of you. They're not going to be able to cut you. Or you get that when they try to jab with you. I know anybody. Well, I mean, I guess she is an expert with the knives. I guess because it ain't her first time. But I'm pretty sure she ain't no martial artist, and she can weave through the legs of a chair or a broom and can just slice you up like that. I'm pretty sure she don't got that type of skill. But I do know from her priors, she do know how to cut. Okay? So I'm saying, get some distance between you. You got somebody with you with that chair. Mr. Patterson could have got that chair, bump, bump, like 4 or 5 bumps to her chest or her throat, got out the house, got on the bike, peeled out, took the knife, called the authorities, get this broad locked up. And now, unfortunately, his grandmother is here talking because he lost a grandson. Okay. And then Miss Elliot, she had her sister, and I'm like, if you blood, you my sister, I'm going to put my name out there. But she wants to go unnamed. She said, I don't want my name out there. I'm just saying my sister ain't a violent person. My sister ain't a violent person. But, from my prior podcast, we saying, $30, $40 for a bottle of liquor, $30 for a background check. Mr. Patterson could have did $30 worth of background check and found out she was a slasher. She was a hachiman. She was a cutter. And, he could have been like, damn, do I want to take that chance? See, now that would be on him.
Well, if I could interject here, I mean, not for nothing, this young man owns motorcycles, so I guess it's safe to say that he's a risk taker, and probably a risk taker of the higher caliber. I mean, if you think about it, riding motorcycles. So for him, I think he thought about, I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, so a crazy girlfriend, that's light for me. That's light.
So you saying, he said, I ride bikes, so the underlining is, maybe I do know she'd be cutting, or maybe she even threatened to cut when we was arguing, or maybe maybe I haven't seen some cut marks on her hand from prior incidents, I'm still gonna take that chance. So I want to know how bad she gonna cut me. I'm ready. He took that chance.
It could be.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how they met up.
Right. Gentlemen, you're both right. She's a fighter. Okay? She's a fighter. I'm more than sure that they've even had scuffles. And, maybe he was able to handle her or whatever. But the thing is, I'm more than sure, I would almost guarantee and bet on it, that he knew her history.
This wasn't the first time, you're saying?
I don't believe it's the first time. Remember, these news articles, they just, they go with a story that's right in front of them, because the man got killed. But then when you get later stories, or you sometimes dig a little more, like when we was talking about Samantha Bloom, whose son, James Fields, had plowed in with the Charger into the crowd and killed Heather Heyer. The mother comes out there and she's talking about, oh, my son's not violent, just like how this lady's sister, Miss Elliot's sister, is saying that oh, she's not violent, but like you pointed out, Mrs. Suave, she refused to give her name. So she's just trying to, say anything, throwing herself on the mercy of the court, hoping that maybe her sister, can get a little leeway, but you can't do that now. She has a history of stabbing, and now she has a history of killing. That's someone you got to stay away from. And I bet you it may come out that she is on mental medications. No people don't do that.
The sister said the alleged murder doesn't make her a bad person. What?
Oh, shit.
So you could just kill and be like, nah, you're still good. You're still good. It was an act, she cut a couple cats before. Well, this time she just went a little too far, but she's still good. She's not a murderer. She's good. She's still good. That's why the sister's going unnamed. From the report we read in here. That's why the sister's going unnamed.
You may never know. The sister may even have a record.
And that's exactly why she's going unnamed. She's like, man, I would have cut up quicker than you. Who knows?
But this is, it's so sad. We got to make light of it because, again, we're looking at it in hindsight. But I know that we're the kind of gentlemen that, hey, man, there's certain things in life you can accept with people, but there's certain things that you obviously cannot accept. Going around and stabbing people, stuff like that, that's something that you really want to avoid. I mean, you got to look at it like, man, you come home after a hard day at work, you go to sleep or a day of studying, or you're doing something, just handling chores, and this woman could be standing over you, like Misery style, with a hobbler, just wants to cut you up, though. She got a knife in her hand. And
you know what?
Okay, hold on. Let's take that back, because you referenced the movie called Misery that most people may not.
Man, if most people don't know that, they living on a rock. They need to Google it and let's keep moving.
Well,
it's a classic.
All right, Misery, folks, with Kathy Bates. That's what we reference to.
And James Caan, very, very famous actor. Yeah. James Caan, you probably remember him from the Godfather movie.
Yes, sir.
And, this was a movie where a woman who was a fan of a writer's work, and basically she was able to take him to her, I guess in her mind, her love nest. And
all right. That's all they need. That's all they need.
Google it and go watch it.
All right.
I do want to let our listeners know once again, which we always, we put a disclaimer on all that stuff. These are our views, what we say. We do make, like Sensei Buddha said, we do make, and we do make it a little more fun for and easier to listen to, because everything is after the fact. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and confer with Sensei Buddha. You're dealing with somebody with a knife, whether he knew about it or if he got stabbed first and he had time to react. Wouldn't you say distance is the safest thing for you when you're dealing with somebody with a knife?
Yes. You have to know how to engage and parry the blade. And again, as Mr. Suave was saying, you put yourself some distance. He could have ran around his motorcycle. He could have done anything, picked up a bottle, threw it at her feet.
Damn.
Something.
It was Brooklyn, so they got bottles on the street. Could have had syringes, little crack pipes, who knows? Well,
yes.
Brooklyn is so clean, so I can't even say that no more.
Well, I would like to know exactly where they live. Yeah, I would like to know exactly where they live. But the thing here is that if he was able to see her coming, or if he knew that she was in a mental state where she was going to go and get a weapon, he should have jumped on his bike and drove off. He should have jumped on his bike and rode off to safety. You're not going to be able, if he knew her history, if the family was cool and said, hey, man, you got to watch yourself because old girl here, she likes to slice.
I doubt the family is going to say that. They're not going to give their people up like that. That's very rare. That's very rare. Unless the sister was trying to smash, that's the only way he would have got that info from family.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. But again, this is a situation, this is an on-hand situation. Someone set upon him with the blade, and he needed to know parrying techniques. He needed to know how to create range, distance, kicking out, of course, at the kneecaps, stuff like that to keep, to give them a pause. And this is when you need to know your smacks, when you're smacking the ear, gouging the eyes, to parry the blade also. And I guess because of this, at a later time, we're going to make a video in which, we're making reports on these types of stories, these types of situations.
Especially when you're dating somebody long term like that, and I wanna, like I said, I got a little law enforcement background on me, so if she's so comfortable with this blade, she's a cutter. They love shanking people in prison. Maybe she knows that. Maybe her skills are enhanced in the county and jail. We don't even know her history, minus her has a history of slashing. But I know I took a couple of Aikido classes before, and a cousin of mine, he's been practicing Aikido for years, and he showed me, we went over a couple scenarios with knives from the times I worked in those places, and he showed me different parrying techniques. It's a lot more advanced of how to control the wrist, get the elbow, take people down, control the blade. That's a lot more advanced than just grabbing a chair or something. Initially create distance, but if you can't create that distance and you have to go hands on, there's a lot of techniques that you could, with a trained sensei like Brother Buddha himself can put you on to.
Well, again, in my experience working security and bouncing, I've been very fortunate that I did not have to face a knife yet, but I did face champagne bottles and I did face Heineken bottles. And I found that, as you said before, because I've taken jiu-jitsu, Aikido, and the Filipino martial arts, they all have a lot of similar techniques, especially with the joint locking. Some of them have different theories about it, but all the techniques, they all end up basically the same. In other words, Aikido is excellent. The Kali is excellent. Jiu-jitsu, when we're talking police tactical jiu-jitsu, as I said before, grappling is superb. That is something you want to do. You're especially trained to grapple with somebody with a knife. The best thing with that knife, as Mr. Suave had said, you need to put distance. Now, when I had to deal with the person with the champagne bottle, what had happened was we had to restrain one of his friends. He jumped on the table and he was waving the bottle over my head. Since he was on the table, I just grabbed his leg and he fell on the floor and busted his behind. Right then and there. The other time when I had to deal with a person with a Heineken bottle, when he raised it up, he was coming down with that center line slash. Or, I make
coming down the course, yeah.
Right. Now that right there, that was when you could use your Aikido technique of sidestepping and blending with him. What I did was I came in on his inside as he was coming down. I call that the hot side of the body where his face is. And what happened was I gave him a short uppercut. My left hand, he came down with his right hand. My left hand had engaged his right hand. I came up with an uppercut. I punched him. And when I did, I grabbed him. Closed his arm tight to my body. And I just tripped him and I laid my weight on him. At that time, I was like 380 pounds. When we fell to the floor, that bottle was dropped out of his hand. He was all out of air. We turned him over and carried him out.
So big man moving this fast. I was not prepared for that. That dude shook.
That's what my scientists are, because they underestimated me. They're thinking, hey, all this brother does is eat Twinkies. I say, hey, that's pretty funny. I do eat the Twinkies, but I do get in my workout too.
I got this fast feet. It's all about technique.
It's always about good technique. And you got to go over your technique over and over and over again so it becomes that muscle memory, so that when somebody is coming at you and you are screaming with fear, your body will do what you have trained it to do. Your body will do what it's trained to do.
Now, I always used to tell people, if I practice, I practice a little bit of keto. I like to do a lot of shadow boxing and things like that. People say, but you need to go hands on. I said, man, back in the day, growing up in New York, talking to people who used to box in the gym, they say, man, some of the best training you could do is just shadow boxing or just shadow training, just watching your shadow, because just like you said, Sensei, just that muscle memory. So when you get in a situation where it's fight or flight and you can't think, your instincts just react. Your animal instincts just react. That's why you grab that dude when you're gonna. You just grab that arm, blend it, pop him, and put him down.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you, boxing is excellent because slipping the punch. A lot of your knife techniques do come from boxing. The Filipino boxing, those techniques do come from boxing. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. When you know how to slip a punch, as they call it, the sweet science, so you don't hit. Aikido, boxing, you need to know that, and also to take some type of Filipino or pencak silat, which is an Indonesian art where they teach you how to deal with the knife as well. Aikido teaches you how to deal with the knife excellent. Boxing is most excellent because you can jam that person, you can punch them in their shoulder, punch them in the arm, punch them in their chest, good, nice, tight combinations, and you can disarm that knife. But you should know knife, you need to know to basically, if you have to engage and you're starting to parry somebody who has a knife, do not turn your palm toward your attacker. Turn your palm that it faces your face. You want to give them the back part of your forearm and your hand so that if you slashed or cut, your arteries are protected. That's why your hands are facing you. We're going to be getting into how you deal with gesturing. If you're not sure if that person has a knife or not, how you go into your gesturing. Hey, man, I don't want no problems with you, but you don't turn your palms toward your attack, because if you do and they slash out, you've just given them your arteries right there. Yeah, we gotta go over some knowledge.
That's the knowledge. Yeah. That's the knowledge. What do you think about? I was, I know there's a spot, and my boy lives in Houston, and there's a spot down there I would love to visit. There's none right where I'm at currently in Florida, but Krav Maga, I heard that is excellent training. I know that's the Israeli military training that all the citizens go through. So I think all the citizens in Israel have to go through that training, female, male, at a certain age. They have to give time in the service. And I heard that is excellent training, Krav Maga.
Krav Maga is good, and the thing that I like about it is having a lot more eclectic, incorporating a lot of Filipino martial arts. In other words, they're using what works. Okay. A lot of I've seen a lot of Krav Maga schools. They've incorporated the Filipino martial arts. They've incorporated a lot of Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu into it. I think it's good. It's very good technique. Like I said, I've not met a martial art that I did not love. And in my humble opinion, if you're going to take any martial art first, I always say take boxing. Boxing gets your hands, it gets the footwork. It's extremely interactive. Basically, if you can learn how to do it, what the boxers are doing, they literally prepare you that very first day on how to dip, slip, and move away from punches with all the footwork. After that, you should get to something like Aikido, because you do need to know how to roll and fall. Remember, you can get into a fight, someone can pick you up and slam you to the floor. If you don't know how to slap out and protect yourself from being injured, from falling onto the floor, the fight's going to be over. Right away.
That's very good. You're coming in and out a little bit, brother. You're coming in and out a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think
that is you know what? That is excellent. When I first started Aikido, and I was, I'm like 6'1", 6'2". Now I'm down to about 225. And my cousin, he's about 5'9", 5'8". I'm gonna give him 5'9" to be modest. But he's a shorter dude. And I was coming at him. He just said, just come at me. I'm like, I don't want to hurt you. He's like, man, just come at me. So I'm coming at him, and you know, every time I came, I'm on the floor, and I didn't know how to take all these falls at first. And you know, so I'm getting a little whiplash, I'm getting hurt. And he said, "Now you see what's happening here." He's taking it easy on me, and he told me, he's like, "Man, it's not just in the training. It's not just about the throws. Just like Sensei Buddha said, you got to know how to take the hits too. It's like wrestling. You got to take the falls. That way you're protected." So it's that's a very good point you put on there.
Yeah, because if you get into a fight and think you're not going to get hit, you're living in illusion.
Everybody ain't Mayweather. Everybody ain't Mayweather.
Exactly. If you can master the Mayweather and that Mike Tyson from back in the '80s and stuff, that dipping and all that sliding, slicking shit, hey man, you're in a good space. But you're gonna get hit. If you look at YouTube and you see some of these great Taekwondo fighters, they're doing kicks to the head. You can have villains that are out here, people who are very bad, and they know the arts. They've trained in karate, they've trained in Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Goju, Krav Maga, and they just decided to be a villain. You know, one time we had this one person we had to put out the club. He had boxing skills. And when we all approached him, we was like, "Sir, you got to go." He was just really out of it. He punched, you know, and this could have happened to me too, because, you know, the way he did it, he was extremely fast. He hit my man and staggered him back. But then once we realized that he had those skills, we smothered him out right away. Right away. We you know, grab an arm, other one grabbed an arm, grabbed his legs, grabbed his body so he could twist and move around. We picked this dude up, we put him outside. We had a cop that was outside. We had him arrested right away. And when you're arresting these people, it's not about, as some people would say, "Oh, you're trying to tattletale, you know, you giving up people, you snitching." You want their information, because when you be dealing with people, you don't know if they look at the situation, that they got to come and retaliate against you. We've had situations where guys got in cars and they drive by once and drive by twice, and it's like, you know what? They're making the decision to come in here and shoot us. We were very fortunate that a patrol car was coming by. We could flag them down. They flagged that car down. And yes, they pulled the guy out. He had a firearm. He had a revolver. I didn't know what kind of model it was, but he had a revolver. And they arrested him. So, you know, you're dealing with some wild stuff out here. This is why you got to train. And a lot of people, I've heard some people have said, "Well, you know, I can't afford the luxuries of training and awareness, this, that, and the other." And a lot of people think that I got it, I'm all right. And I'm like, no, you're not. You got people that are out here, they observe you, they know your schedule, they know the car you drive. You may come out, you might be wearing your identification for work. So they now know, hey, okay, he has an identification. I couldn't really quite see where it was, but they will watch you, they will stalk you, and then when they feel that you're at a point where, okay, you know, his mind isn't around, or her mind isn't on the surroundings, they come and they get you. And what we teach our people is not only how to defend against a knife, but how to, what we call, spar in the car. You got to know how to fight in the car. You got to know how to fight in the vestibule. You got to know how to fight in an elevator. You got to know how to fight on a stairwell. We call this space deprivation techniques. Being deprived of space, that means, unfortunately, you can't use your axe kick, but you can use your knees and your elbows. You may not be able to back up, but you can slip, duck, turn, redirect, and do a forceful block and smash their hand against the glass or into the wall and maybe bust their knuckles up. Yeah, you gotta be prepared to fight in all kind of ranges.
That's all that fight you see in the movies.
Yes. Hey, a lot of people, they was trying to make fun of it, but if you remember in The Matrix Reloaded, when Morpheus was fighting against one of those twins, those guys could pass their body through material.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff was real. How are you going to deal with it when you're at a stoplight and the squeegee guy comes and he's posing as a squeegee guy? This isn't trying to say that the guys who want to clean your window are bad guys, but you get people, that's the distraction.
So for those of our listeners who don't know what a squeegee guy is, that's usually in most major metropolitan areas, there's a guy that's by a traffic light, usually homeless, comes with a spray bottle, cleans your windshield, and basically begs for money.
What's in the spray bottle? Nobody knows. Could be hoop, could be wine, could be piss, could be spit, could be water. You know, you just take a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, the wretchedness. And, you know what? They got a knife to your throat. Or they're diving in through your driver's side window to grab you, to stop you from trying to get away. And you got to know how to be prepared to deal with that. You got to know how to redirect, position your hands, hold on to that person, and then hit the accelerator, brother. If he can run 90 miles an hour, hey, he's the $6 million man. But we already know that ain't happening. And you got to be prepared to defend yourself accordingly. And this is not something that you just say, okay, I have the concept. The show had some good points to make. Let me, figure it out. It's like, no, you got to train for that.
You got to put the work in. You got to go put that work in. You got to get out there and put that work in.
There was a very good video by the Gracie family. I think her name is Eve Gracie. I think she used to be in the wrestling, the WWE, or one of those things. And her and her husband, she married the gentleman, and one of the Gracie brothers. I think he's one of the nephews or something.
Maybe we could leave this one for the next show.
They did a situation where she was defending her in the car, in the back seat. See, these are the things people need to think about. I have to do that in context because this all happened around a motorcycle. Mr. Patterson should use that motorcycle to keep that woman at bay, or if he saw her coming, he should have jumped on that motorcycle and drove off, man. And if he couldn't do that, run. A good run.
He could have used that motorcycle to propel himself and hit her with a Luke Kane kick.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we should leave it there. This was good. I think our users have been fully informed as well as entertained. Sensei Buddha, thank you. Mr. Suave, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suave. Thank you.
Yes, so with that said, folks, we've got an email address now, so if you have any comments about the show, suggestions, or you just want to troll, our email address is hindsight, it's spelled HYNDESITE, sorry, it's thehindsight @gmail.com. That's THEHYNDESITE @gmail.com. That's thehindsight @gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Take care.